Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed. Ji ayanu, goedemorgen, Sparta.
Begin Agile, Ni Hao, Churushumme, Washmale, Ohio, Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Haleshuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Maraba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Balli Kare. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning on a very sunny, bright morning over here on a Tuesday in Islamabad. Ladies and gentlemen, with me, I am very lucky to actually have such a great host who is Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shazad Hasan Khan. And there's one more thing.
Yeah.
We actually look like Gola Ganda on television screen today. I mean, the combination is such. It's just yellow and pink, which I believe is very vibrant.
Well, absolutely. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. And just so you feel better, let me just tell you, Shazad, this entire season globally, pastel sorbets are the colors of the season, and we're both wearing them. So I think we're on trend.
Yes, I think I'll be fine with Gola.
Okay.
And then you can pick up on whatever you want to pick up.
Right. So yes, I think we do look like popsicles for that matter, if someone doesn't understand.
Yeah, a modern name, yes.
Right. I really hope all my viewers out there are having a great morning. If not, we're here to change that, right?
Exactly.
Because today what we are going to talk about, or what we have picked up on, is something, well, I think each and every single person will be interested in talking about it. And this particular topic, I feel like you really want to discuss even more after you've grown up, or especially after you've gotten married, don't you think so?
Exactly, and not just that, ladies and gentlemen, today, this is something which we have picked up on. Sorry that, we're building up on your anticipation, and we want you to be a little more patient about it. Us being lucky that, that they're still a part of our lives, alhamdulillah, and shukr alhamdulillah in the first place. But, there's so many people out there who are missing out on them, and, once you start to miss out on them, your life completely changes. It does not go back to how it was, or how you used to refer to as being normal. And, every other day when siblings would sit down, I believe that, that's what you're going to talk about. And it's all because of them, after Allah, that we are over here, that we are healthy, that, that we can talk, we can pretend to be celebrities and do whatever. Because, after Allah, it's their prayers, and only then, you can probably do something in life. Which is why I'm going to share one thing very amazing over here before we go on towards this report. And that is that, that somebody used to tell me that ba the ba naseeb. And वो साथ में मुझे एक और चीज़ कहते थे कि मैं अगला फिक्रा नहीं बोलूँगा, because मैं चाहता भी नहीं हूँ कि ऐसा फिक्रा मेरी ज़ुबान से निकले. So he always used to tell me ba the ba naseeb, and he used to tell me that, whatever you're going to do in life, if you're going to be full of respect, you will always have a wonderful and a blessed life as well.
So
Who said that is something which we are going to keep as a secret, but Shreya wanted to add something over here.
Well, I definitely want to add so many things over here. Before that, I think to give it away, what we are talking about, we have a small report. Let's take a look. When we come back, well, we have personal stories to share.
Yeah, let's do that.
Emphasizing the critical role of parents in the rearing of children, the Global Day of Parents recognizes that the family has the primary responsibility for the nurturing and protection of children. For the full and harmonious development of their personality, children should grow up in a family environment and in an atmosphere of happiness, love, and understanding. Families have borne the brunt of COVID-19 pandemic. As the anchors of the family and the foundation of our communities and societies, parents have the responsibility of sheltering their families from harm, caring for out-of-school children, and at the same time continuing their work responsibilities. Without support from parents, children's health, education, and emotional well-being is at risk. By introducing family-friendly workplace policies and practices, companies and organizations will be in a better position to promote children's safety and well-being. Parents' Day is the right time to show appreciation towards parents for their commitment and sacrifice towards bringing up their children in a safe environment and nurturing their lives.
Well, yes, today happens to be Global Day of Parents, and on behalf of myself, my entire team, Shazad Khan, I think we want to take this moment actually to kind of observe a moment of silence, yes, but also give out our love, heart and prayers to all those people who have unfortunately lost their parents, one or both of them even, in any unfortunate incident or series of incidents, because it's a natural law, it will happen to everyone, but I do know, or probably maybe I cannot put myself in your shoes, but I do understand the pain of it, Shazad.
Exactly.
I really hope you all have the patience to sort of bear through this incident that if it has happened to you. But Shazad, I think everyone does realize that having parents is something immensely, immensely fortunate to have, right?
Alhamdulillah.
And I often say this thing, and I think I totally 100% stand by it, that there's a reason Allah chose our parents for us. Can you imagine having the choice to choose your parents? We'll do such big blunders, man. I'm so happy my parents are actually chosen by Allah. Because if we had the chance, I would over and over and over choose them again.
Wow, that's wonderful and wonderfully explained as well, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, United Nations just does not only emphasize on, you know, celebrating parents, but they do emphasize on celebrating families as well, which is why on 15th of May, from 1993 or 1994 onwards, you know, there was an International Day for Families as well. And then there was an year completely dedicated towards International Year of Families as well.
Wow.
But building up on that, you know, I believe that, you know, that it has a lot of impact on socio-economic development as well. It has a lot of impact on the way your personalities are going to shape up. It's going to have a lot of impact on the way your parents have been behaving with you, and you are going to replicate it in every phase of life. And this is what we do as parents as well. You know, I kind of, you know, go back in time, think about what my parents did to me, and then I'm like, okay, beta, you know, this is what you need to do. So this is going to happen with everybody as well. Somewhere we are wrong, somewhere we are right. But, you know, where we are right or where we are wrong, I think we really need to come to the middle ground and celebrate our parents for what they have done for us, or how they have, you know, kind of prioritized our needs before theirs as well. And I see a shift in that as well. I see a shift in that as well. And, you know, speaking about my parents, alhamdulillah, you know, the first picture was my parents, the second picture is Shiza's parents as well. So we're going to start off by sharing some amazing stories about our parents,
cute.
and then moving down to have a conversation with our guests as well. So talking about my parents, I think that the best part I've enjoyed in my life about my parents is that my father kind of never raised a hand on me.
Oh,
yeah, once
that's
or twice,
nice.
because I was
Lucky.
very notorious, I was very naughty, couldn't, you know, I just didn't take orders from anybody. But my mom, mashallah, you know, kind of beat me up every single day till the time I was in the 4th semester of my university. And even then, you know,
Wow.
so my mom, you know, this is a very crazy incident. So my mom used to tell me कि छोटा भाई तुम्हारा नाराज हो जाता है, अगर उसको मारूं तो मैं उसकी जगह तुम्हें मार लेती हूँ. You know, so this is what she used to say, that can I beat you instead of
So cute,
my younger
though.
brother? And you know, once I was like, why not? You know, I take it as prayers. And she gave me a hard slap, and there was this entire, you know, handprint on my cheek, and then she was like, oh, ye to zor se lag gaya. And I was like, it's all right, you know, now it's
Wow.
done, so it's done. So I've kind of taken beating every single day, and that's the product they have, you know, kind of brought into the world after all of that
Aw.
beating and shaping up.
Contrary to that, though, my siblings sort of hate me for the fact that I am the one in the house who was least beaten up. Is that the right term to use?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. A lot of my siblings say you're very clever, you're very tez for that matter. But I just feel like I was friends with my mom. You know, my husband till date says that my mom and I talk like she is my younger sister. And I absolutely love the relationship. Oh, if we could talk, we would talk for hours. But
Yeah.
without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's be introducing our very, very perfect panel of guests over here who are going to, along with us, learn and, in fact, inform you guys about the role of parents in your life. And then we will take the entire time celebrating our parents.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by parents from different walks of life. And, you know, they, in their own capacities, kind of do things which will actually help us understand this how parents are, what support system is, how we really need to look up to parents, how we need to prioritize our parents once they get elderly as well. So first up, a parenting counselor. She happens to be Ms. Musarrat Jazeb. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning, Shahzad. Thank you so much for calling me over. In fact, I walked in as a parent, but I'm being so nostalgic. I'm thinking like a child more now.
So sweet.
Wow, that's just, it's just wonderful. And thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here where we are celebrating our parents today. And it feels like Eid to me, honestly. But moving on to the next guest, ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the best guys I've ever come across, and it's just because of the fact that the way he's doing things is very out of the box. You know, he comes out with concepts which people haven't heard of, and you know, when you kind of get into conversation, when you kind of get a gist of what he's trying to explain, you know, it's so you know, it kind of unfolds in a way where you really do not have to kind of put in a lot of hard work to understand it.
He's
It's
brilliant.
it's out there for all those people whom we refer to as common men as well. And you know, Alhamdulillah, he's actually blessed with 2 families. So he's going to let us know, you know, how he's keeping a balance in between, you know, both the families as well. So first of all, obviously, he's a life coach, he's a mentor, he's one of those people look up to, you know, in order to bring their life in order. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one and only Dr. Khalid Mahmood. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
I am humble. Thank you so much, Shilad.
Thank you very much
That's
for
great.
joining us. Wonderful to have you. And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I do it?
Yeah, okay, why not?
So Shazad and I were just discussing before the show as well. We love her social media presence. I'll tell you why. To first of all pick something, develop your entire personality around it. She happens to be a yoga teacher, yes, a holistic coach. But more than that, she is a parent. And what makes her extremely special is she is very strong and a single parent. Not by choice, of course, but pulling it off so well, mashallah. So I think she was the best person to actually bring on board and get all the answers out of.
Exactly.
She happens to be Aisha Khwaja. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back.
Walaikum. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's our pleasure, always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I lost my parents, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and they
Sad.
actually
I'm so
died in
sorry.
my arms, so it is like bringing up all those memories
I'm
back
so
to
sorry.
Sad
to
to
hear
know, but
that.
you know, then at the same time, we kind of really need to cherish what they actually did for us
Yeah.
as well, yeah, and for you too as well. So let's get the conversation started. I think I'll get it started with Ms. Musarrat over here.
Okay.
So first things first, you know, the way we kind of cherished our parents today by sharing a memory, we want each one of you to share a memory of your parents and how they were and the kind of relationship you had.
Shahzad, I have something very interesting to share as
Sure.
well. But before that, I must say that there were 2 things that I seriously appreciate now when I stepped into the shoes of the parent myself.
Yeah.
First, that my parents were very, very loving and tolerant towards my very teenage tantrums and all that energy that a teenage would have and would want to do everything. So they gave me a lot of freedom for exploring my potential and doing things that I, wanted to do. Secondly, I always have seen a wonderful relationship between my parents, So I think that has such a healthy, positive impact on the kind of person you turn out to be later in your life. It goes a long way in your life. So the funniest memory that I have is my father was a very jolly, loving, and a very expressive person, and my mother was very quiet and very less expressive person. But she would have a lot of use of her body language and eyes, and we would write
The
out,
eyes.
no, something has gone wrong, or yes, this is the limit, you can go beyond and all that.
Right.
So, I mean, once it was so interesting, I was insisting that I need to go on a trip. I was in middle school, probably in class 6. So I was telling my parents, no, I have to go on this school trip and all that. And my parents, of course, for their own safety and concerns and all that, they said, no, you're not allowed to. So this was early morning. I was carrying my school bag even, and I leave my house in a lot of anger and, just step out of my house. And the moment I step out of my house door, I just slipped.
Oh.
Although I didn't slip bad, but I slipped in a manner I just sat on the floor. And in my heart, while I was thinking, God, nobody watches me, there I see a hand coming to me and picking me up, and it was my father. And the most amazing thing was his smile, and he just gave me some money, I don't know how much, and he said, take it and you can go on the trip. That was so amazing,
I know. And
because
imagine
they can't
till date
see
you
you
remember the
unhappy.
story.
Yeah.
They can't see you unhappy. And a lot of what they do and restrict you in a certain manner, they only do it because they care more about you.
Of course, there's no question in that. And this
Yes.
was, thank you so much, Ms. Musarrat, for sharing this. It was really very sweet. Moving on to you. Now, you have the choice. Either you want to share your own story with your parents or probably your kid's story, and you being a parent.
Yeah, that's great, that's great.
What? You can do whatever you want.
This topic in this moment is so emotional for me at
I
the
know.
time, and it's so amazing as well. It's a mixture of everything. So I would share one thing first. My mother passed away in the March, and
Oh, I'm
still
so
I'm
sorry.
passing through that grief and acceptance and getting out of the denial phase and everything. But the beautiful part of it is that I'll tell you 2 things,
Yeah.
one from mother's side, one from father's side. The last weekend I went to my father, and he made me to sit, and he said, in the last few days, we were sitting together before the death of my mother, the mother and father, they were sitting. And he said, do you know, your mother asked me something, and she asked me few questions, and she asked, can you tell me when did we get married? Do you remember the date?
Okay.
Now he says, I don't remember the date, but I think it was too hot in those days. And he told something, you know, like, I think there was वो गंदम का कोई time था या
Oh, the
उस वक्त
season.
ये था. He narrated some season sort of a thing.
Right.
And then he said that today is 2021, but I can just say कि 60-61 साल हो गए. So they spent 61 years
Wow.
together,
Wow. Mashallah.
she said. And she said that, do you know that in these last 61 years, this is the conversation going of two elder people
Yes,
before
so
the death
cute.
of one, and they are together. And he says that for the last 61 years, we raised so many kids. So many mean we are 7 brothers and
Mashallah.
sisters.
Likewise.
And when everyone was very small, we raised them. They got married. Now we have so many children after that also. But see, at the end of the day, only me and you are sitting together.
Beautiful. And
Because
that is the
rest
truth.
every boy, the daughters have gone after married, getting married, and we are out of the cities, somebody is out of the country. Ultimately, both they are sitting there, right? That was the moment when I touched my heart. I said, I am a life coach, I am a relationship coach, but everything, you know, sometimes you forget when you look at them. Spending 61 years together, how many seasons of good and bad memories, how many fights they must have gone through, how many bad times they've gone through, how many good times they've gone through. But see the patience of both of them, that they did not try to
super.
leave each other. You know?
Wow, and you know, the way you shared it is just so emotional, and you know, it gives me an adrenaline rush at the same time as well.
I'm telling you.
Which is why I might be, you know, kind of taking another course right now, you know, but just for this one question, and then we can move on with our conversation. That is that imagine that almost on average, Pakistani men and Pakistani women, while they are married, alhamdulillah, will spend somewhat around from 40 to 60 years together. But the woman will still talk about all the memories, you know, she had from her parents' house, you know.
Exactly.
You know, because if I go back and look into when my sisters got married, you know, everybody was 18, 19, 16 probably as well.
Oh,
You know, this is
wow.
how we got married in the Rajput family. But, you know, so now they have spent like 20 years, 15 years with their husbands, but they would always talk about how their life was at their parents' place as well. So there has to be something very special as well, which is why I'm going to move on to Miss Aisha now. So, you know, talking about all of those memories you have from your parents' place, first of all, you know, we want you to cherish one of those memories with us and with our viewers out there.
Well, all the memories with our parents are always like very loving and blissful.
ये फैंटी सिर्फ मुझे ही पड़ी है.
No, even, you know, actually, the
One
bad
minute,
memories
depend
don't
करता
even
है
seem bad, right? Yes, go on.
So
She said,
actually,
"But
I
then
was
it
the, the favorite child of my
Aw.
parents, and
You must be so
I'm-
spoiled. You were?
Yeah,
Okay.
my siblings they used to hate me for that.
Oh,
Why they save everything for you?
oh, that's so sweet, actually,
Yeah.
right? So, Aisha, actually, I don't know if I should put you in the spot or not, but you happen to be a poetess as well. Do you have something for your parents, probably, you want to dedicate to them?
Yeah, I've written some poems for them, but there is
Okay.
one poem which is very close to my heart, and
Yes.
I've written it for the single mothers. Because
Okay.
being now a single mother, I feel very strongly for all those single women who are facing so many challenges every day, and I must say every moment.
Of course, of course.
So,
Can you please hear it?
Yeah, please.
Please, go
It's
ahead.
very close to my heart.
Sure,
It's
go
in
ahead.
Urdu,
Okay.
but I want to
love
share,
Urdu.
right? ये कमज़ोर सी कच्ची उम्र की लड़कियाँ, ये कमज़ोर सी कच्ची उम्र की लड़कियाँ, ये नाजुक दिल वाली डरपोक डरपोक लड़कियाँ, मेकअप करके शोख शोख लड़कियाँ, माँ बनती हैं तो तूफ़ान हैं ये लड़कियाँ, कैसे कैसे आदमियों से टकराती हैं ये लड़कियाँ, कैसे कैसे बोझ दिलो जाँ पर उठाती हैं ये लड़कियाँ, किन किन नज़रों को सहकर आगे बढ़ती हैं ये लड़कियाँ, अपना कौन होता है खूब जानती हैं ये बुद्धू लड़कियाँ, मानो तो इनके लिए सभी बदनज़र बेईमान साजिशी लुटेरे हैं, इन सब को ठिकाने लगाती हैं ये अकेली माएँ, ये लड़कियाँ.
Wow.
Wow, you are
Just
awesome.
brilliant and
Thank you
just
so
so
much.
strong, right?
Yeah,
The vibe of it.
It's beautiful, and I like it how, you know, as a single parent, you've only thought about ladkiyan. You know, ladke can even be single parents. I mean, khuda na khwasta, unfortunately, but yeah, it can go both ways.
I can translate it for you. ये लड़के.
Yeah, it's perfectly alright. But you know,
I have a
I want to move on to Dr. Saab over here. So, Dr. Saab, now, you know, when we talk about parenting, obviously we are cherishing our parents, and it's because of the fact that we have had good memories with our parents. You know, the way they have prioritized us before their needs and whatever they required. You know, they've sacrificed for us and whatnot. Because I still remember that, you know, our parents would get, if they needed something, they wouldn't rather get it, but they would get it, something for us
Yes.
as well instead. And we see that, you know, trends are changing. You know, kind of, you know, us as parents are very different. We would rather get things for our kids and then ourselves as well. We'll be like, okay, it's alright, aaj ji lete hain, koi masla nahi. But, you know, if we are to kind of decide whether the kind of parenting which was done 2 decades ago was better parenting, or if you have to decide if today the parents are doing the right way, or, you know, the way they were supposed to be, or the way our parents might have imagined कि यार इनको ऐसे वालिदैन बनना चाहिए. Are we doing it right? I mean, that's what I'm wanting to
Is
ask.
it really that black and white?
Shehzad, you put me in such a situation because mostly parenting is a very a topic which is very close to my heart,
Okay.
and I work on parenting much. Since today is the day for the parents, so that is an emotional part of it.
Yep.
Of course.
Each one of us knows that parents are the greatest gift ever one can get in their lives.
Definitely.
I think nothing can be more than that. So, having said that, now with
There's
the
a but.
now there is another part
Okay.
of that. Being a doctor, I receive people who come to me with their emotional issues, with their the mind issues. I
Right,
don't even call them a patients, I call them a client,
Clients,
because
okay.
people have issues. Shehzad, I want to tell here that when I see people at their age of, I think I have treated people, I think 65 to 70-year-old people, 75 if I remember correctly. And when I went into the detail, the problem was in parenting.
Childhood trauma.
Childhood
Yes.
Unresolved issues.
unresolved issues, parenting issues, bad parenting, toxic parenting. So this is the topic today I never wanted to share, but since the question is,
important.
I just want to share this thing, and I think this should go the message that parenting is such thing which is the most neglected thing today, that people don't understand that they need to learn parenting.
Definitely.
They only think that, okay, whatever we have seen our fathers doing, so that is the parenting. What we have seen or somebody else or relative or somebody have seen it, so that is what it is. That's not it is. Once we are giving time to everything, even we go for a financial learning, we go for all the degrees, we go for so many other things, but we don't think the basic foundation on which we are standing, our generations are standing, that is the parenting.
Absolutely.
So now I'll answer your question that the parenting which we had, it has got its own advantages, there is no doubt about it. But at the same time, somewhere we also had the part which is still going on with all of us somewhere.
True,
The old parents, right? So now this is the time when everything is just on your palm of your hand. You can read the books, you can listen to the talks, you can get any information. So today I would just say that now parents need to be more educated,
Definitely.
more aware, because the new generation is different than the our generation.
True.
Dr. Saab, you know, where you said that you really did not want to talk about it, I think it's a great thing that you did. This is the angle I sort of wanted to take, but I realize, I think, rather than that, we should be celebrating our parents. But now, since you have directed us there, let us begin the conversation. Ms. Musarraf, it was again in the 1980s when the UN and different states and ILO, or you know, even UN Women sat together and spoke about the role of parents. Like you said, I think it was too late for people to realize how parenting could have an effect on the kind of person you're developing. For example, in the smallest of examples, crime rate is high in places or regions where, well, there's no proper family system or parent system or a better connection or communication between children and parents. First of all, I think, 1980s, if that was when it came to the world. In Pakistan, it came later. Or let us know, what do you think about it, and how important do you think, like Dr. Saab mentioned, early childhood development is?
Well, it reminds me of a very interesting post I've seen on Facebook last week, which said, are we the last generation who was scared of our parents? Or for that matter, are we the first generation that is scared of our children?
Oh,
so it it had quite a feedback from every walk of life. So I only think about one thing. I mean, we no more the same parents, because children are no more the same children.
Yeah.
Times always change, right?
So we always draw inspiration from our own very parents and the parenting style we would have experienced in our life.
Okay.
But it's a matter of making the right choice that suits to the kinds of children you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Now, children of today are very, very, facilitated in terms of, everything that they would need in their life, far more privileged.
True.
I mean, they would think of anything and it's available, leave alone the, dressing, shoes, everything, up to the gadgets and all that. But remember, it's not the facility, it's the availability of the parent. And no, amount of things and worldly, facilities can substitute the time that the parent would invest into the child.
Absolutely.
The very, very quality time. Fortunately or unfortunately, you would see many parents working in the family. Like, I mean, gone are the times when we would have only men going out for the work and women would be staying home.
Yes.
So in most of the cases, when I come across parents, I find them working. So it becomes all the more important for the parents to have a very healthy relationship and develop a sort of an understanding that can benefit them in parenting and invest into the quality time for their children. Because unless you do that, you're at a loss as a parent.
Okay.
So I think the time and very, very healthy, encouraging behavior of the parent is very important in development of the child.
And thank you very much for
Brilliantly put.
saying that. Yeah, because I can actually relate with that, because for the last alhamdulillah 3 decades now, this is something which I can remember, that our parents have always made sure that on a Sunday there's going to be a brunch at our place and every sibling is going to come with all their kids as well.
So nice.
And if, God forbid, if one of the siblings is going to miss out, so she's going to get the bashing, because, everybody took out time to be together. But bashing by, other siblings, not by parents, obviously they're nice to them as well. And the other challenge this year around was kind of convincing your parents to go get vaccinated.
Oh,
this is one thing which I kind of, I couldn't find ways of kind of convincing that, hey, it's very important, we need to do this and whatnot. And we actually have a similar report on two.
No, but are they vaccinated now?
Yeah, my mother's got 1 shot.
Okay.
But my father, when it was Sinopharm being given to patients or people out there, he was like, I'm not sure and whatnot. But now he is, and now since he got to know that Pfizer is here, so we are looking for a better option as well, and we'll go get him vaccinated as well. Which is why I want everybody out there, in fact parents today, to kind of understand how the situation is amidst COVID. And let's take a look. And once you guys will come back, we will actually ask Miss Aisha whether how to convince your parents about something that they have never gone through in their life. I think this is something which I want to talk about. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Pakistan, that remained under strict lockdown, saw a steady decline of COVID-19 cases, attributed largely to the lockdown and the paced-up vaccination drive. The government is currently administering vaccines free of cost, and walk-in vaccinations are open for those over 40 years of age. The situation at this time is more dangerous, as the ongoing incline in the number of infections has taken less time compared to during the first and second waves. Since the pandemic outbreak, a total of 921,053 cases have been detected in the country. Punjab has reported 339,686 cases, Sindh 317,665, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa 132,549, Balochistan 25,148, Islamabad 81,195, AJK 19,232 and Gilgit-Baltistan 5,578. The national tally of fatalities has reached 20,779. According to experts, safety precautions are the only available option for third world countries to avoid a surge in infections.
So safety precautions, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard them out loud as well. And for all of those parents who still do not feel convinced that they need to get vaccinated, please, because you are that beacon of light for your parents, that support system for your kids, in fact, and that you will always, we want you to be around us always. For as far as I'm going to live, I want to see my parents alive, alhamdulillah, inshallah as well. And this is what I pray for as well.
Inshallah.
But half of the time, Shiza, for things which our parents haven't done, they kind of, it is hard to kind of make them accept that, hey, you know what, we can do it. And they're like, hey, you know what. So for things which people have not done, let's put it this way, they won't be agreeing to you doing it because they have not done them themselves as well. So may them be parents, may them be anybody else. So Ms. Aisha, coming down to you as well and asking the same question, whether for something which our parents never went through, how can they actually kind of agree or understand that, okay, they can probably do it as well? Because for me, it was very different to be in television. I was the first ever in my family. My mother kind of still blames my father, aapke wajah se munda bigad gaya, things like that. So how do we do that?
I think if emotional blackmailing can work for you, nothing like it.
Yeah. What kind of a parent are you? Do you understand where your kids are coming from?
Yeah, I'm a very flexible and a very friendly kind of a parent.
Okay.
So, and I strongly believe that the parent has to act like a parent, guide, mentor, but also as a friend. That you should be on a very friendly relationship with your kids.
Yes.
Otherwise, they might go astray, and you will never know what's going on in their mind.
Exactly.
And like ma'am was saying, that you have to invest your time in your kids.
True.
So it's not only investing your time when the things are going right, when they are doing well in life and everything is easy, but we need to invest most when things are not really easy, when they are having hard time, and when the things are challenging. That is the time that they need us most.
Exactly,
So
that's true, which is why, let me move on to Dr. Saab. Now, Dr. Saab, while she was actually kind of telling us, what we really need to do if they haven't been through a situation, there's one more situation which came up to my mind, and that is that, these days we have a lot of anxiety, we have a lot of depression, we have people, not feeling very well. And, since she talked about and spoke about emotional blackmailing as well, I have seen a lot of kids who emotionally blackmail their parents. And then, their parents actually have to suffer from their own health as well, meanwhile thinking about what their kids might be saying. Because I've literally seen kids threatening their parents that they will kill themselves no matter what happens if they are not going to listen to them as well. So how do parents draw a line in between emotional blackmailing and blackmailing which is going to take a toll on their mental health and physical health as well? Because I've seen parents' health deteriorating when their kids start to blackmail them.
Very classy.
Important.
It's unfortunate but true.
Important question. Actually, there is a difference of a generation gap. Now, this topic is such, if you ask me, for example, so my parents are in their 80s, in 90s, and if you ask from somebody else, to his parents are maybe from 40s and 20s and 30s. So there is a difference between these two. We have to keep this thing in mind.
Okay.
A person like me who is in this age, whose parents are so, senior in their life, so I think they are much more aware than that as far as the emotional blackmailing is concerned. Because those were the days when they got inspiration from their elders, and they had a very different way. As before the program, you were saying me that when my father or mother wanted to say me that don't go outside, but they knew that why they are saying, but they did not tell me that why they are saying, right?
Exactly.
So that was a way of teaching you things in a very different way. So if you see those parents, so I don't think so they get emotionally blackmailed, by the way. So now take them out of that, because I tell you, and it is two ways.
That's true.
I must say that this is two way. You will find parents also blackmailing their children.
Yes, yes.
So nobody is talking. I tell you, it is so
every
difficult.
relationship for that matter.
It is so difficult topic that once you go in one direction, you get so emotional you forget other one.
Yeah.
You go in another direction, you see a Baghban movie and you're so emotional and you say that, oh my God, this.
Oh God.
But if you listen, because why I am saying it, because I see both sides of that.
Yes, yes, that's true.
People come this side
Which
also,
is why
people
you're
come
here.
this side. That's why, right? So that is why I try to keep both of the sides so that everyone should understand. So now coming on to the parents who are from this generation.
Okay.
So the only way they can do it when they will keep abreast themselves with the new information. Because from where this blackmailing thing comes, from social media they learn so many things, from movies they learn so many things, because your child has learned this attitude or this behavior from somewhere.
Yes, of course.
So once
That might be you.
might be yourself.
Oh my God, let's talk
I
about
tell
that.
you, might be yourself or your surrounding or your hala, puppo. This is another topic,
आज
right?
घर जाओगे ना बेटा अब्बू को ये कहना
So the point, just to end it up,
Yes.
that parents need to be more aware of these things. If they are aware, they cannot be emotionally blackmailed. They will know exactly what to do, when to do, and to whom to.
So what you try to say in layman words is कि हम parents को आजकल ये पता होना चाहिए कि film कौन डाल रहा है. That's what you
Exactly.
But
Dr.
I
I'd like to
point,
add
it's more
something
like
to your
a on-the-job training parent.
Exactly. Very, very true.
Yeah,
Very
but
true.
I
So
like
they
to
should
add
keep learning them.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Miss Musarraf?
one thing that I consider very important in continuation to what Dr. Saab said.
Yeah.
What we actually need to understand as a parent is that these children are not our property.
Yeah.
They're
Very
the gift of
important.
Allah to us.
Very important.
And we've been, Allah Ta'ala has given us this responsibility
Beautiful.
to raise them in the best of our manner. So that extreme level of confrontation where each party would start threatening only reaches when, you fail to understand your children.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So accommodating with how life is changing, accommodating how rapidly they come across different exposure, we need to be very, very empathetic with our own children. We need to give them the freedom to choose things for themselves. So I think the balance between, the freedom and the disciplined life for your children actually would help you a lot.
Again, very brilliant. You all are so well spoken. I really feel like maybe I'm lost somewhere in between. But now, one thing I think I'm going to take this moment again to probably appreciate one of the things that I have been exposed to through my father. Now, I think naturally he will hate me saying this, but he does belong to or come from a background that might have contributed to him being
Uncle
conservative in terms of his cultural values. And well, let's give him that room, why not, right? But I think it's so great of him to realize that we don't come from that background and we are different people. And he really, really always told us that my time was different than yours. He believes in what Hazrat Ali has told us, Razi Taranhu has told us. And he really sticks by that. We have 5 siblings, mashallah, all different personalities, sort of with a huge age gap and everything as well. And he's accommodating towards all of us. So I really, credit goes to his understanding of things. It's not that he has changed.
But
He's
he's
still that
flexible.
person. Yes,
He's
he's very
flexible.
flexible. Absolutely. Now, one very weird part of, or a weird direction of this conversation as well. Some children I have met who, you guys are right now children as well because of you have mashallah parents. So some children, just for the sake of it or just for the reasoning of having a bad personality, would like to badmouth their parents. You know what I mean? If you're talking about childhood trauma, they just like to say कि मेरी parenting अच्छी नहीं थी मैं इसलिए ऐसा हूँ. So without having probably giving them a chance to change themselves, it's really easy to blame someone. So is it always true in this case कि हमेशा it has to be from the parents कि उन्होंने गलती की है?
Not really, but the problem where children would reach to a point that they would start bad-mouthing parent reaches where you have a huge communication gap. You start talking to your child. You need to understand what's going on in the mind of your child. And I'm sure that even all that time your child is throwing tantrum, is not really agreeing with your style of parenting. Would understand that your conditional love is unconditional and what you're saying is actually going in the benefit of that child. So, when I look back at my childhood, I would all know to all kind of, things my parent would say, and I would say, no, why would I do this? So, this is so interesting. I'm kind of adopting all those things as a parent even now. So, it's not that if children are saying no to it, so they would not agree to your unconditional love or your, suggestion or your way of parenting. Maybe later sometime they would understand that. But why would children for the first place be bad-mouthing parents. I think this has to come from the very own family value, where you need to sit as a family and, you know, talk about good things. You need to learn to appreciate your children as well. Only then they would appreciate you in return as a parent.
That's true.
Yes,
but you know
100%.
what, ma'am, I would actually add on to, and I would want to take this conversation further. Dr. Saab, moving on to you and then Miss Aisha. I want you both to kind of answer this question. Now, what I've seen for my own self as well, not in my case, obviously, shukr alhamdulillah, but I've seen other friends whom I have, you know, then they're still my friends as well, that I've seen parents taking advantage of one parent not being so inclusive within the family, you know, probably whatever the reasons may be, you know, whether they were working for longer hours and, you know, or probably, you know, they were having arguments, parents, in between each other, and then the other parent taking advantage of the kids and kind of bad-mouthing about a father or a mother to the kid, which obviously the kid starts to take advantage, and then unfortunately, you know, it's going to stay there forever with that kid as well.
In their head.
So how do you think, now today I want you to educate all of those parents who are out there towards the end, okay, hey, you know what, please do not badmouth about each other, at least in front of your kids.
Shazad, you have just nailed it.
Thank you, sir.
I think
telling
it's
you.
sorry.
I tell, because he's bringing up something. I tell you, the first thing you were talking before,
Ji.
I just want to add in that something, that if I am a leader, if I am a parent, my children look at me just like a leader, because I am the greatest man on this planet when my child sees me. Right?
That's so sweet.
Hero.
This is how it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
every child, the first inspiration they get from their parents,
That's
and
true.
in that they get from their father, right? So initial first 7 years their paradigm was building up, and then the next 7 to 8 years they were experiencing the world from the paradigm that was built in them.
Interesting.
I am going to answer your question that in 15 years, when the complete paradigm is built and personality is built, right? For example. Now, how can you say that if I am the person who is building that personality, and if he or she goes bad mouthing about me, then where should be the problem lying? The problem is with me then.
Okay.
The 15, 16, 18 years, I was the one who was nurturing that.
But Dr. Saab, you gave you actually categorically said that the parents are to be blamed. Is that true?
I am telling you, I am myself a parent.
Okay.
If I was not, I would have been said,
Okay.
okay, I am just saying so. I have got a boy of 20-year-old and I have got a boy of 1-year-old.
Oh, wow, mashallah.
Right?
Mashallah.
I have boy of 18-year-old.
Mashallah.
I am into a long distance relationship with my boys too, and I am with a close relationship with my boys too. So whatever I'm saying, I'm experiencing every morning, every day, every evening.
Okay.
And I realize that whatever I'm teaching to them, whatever I'm showing to them, this is going to come in front of me.
That's
Exactly.
true. Yes,
The chapter is closed.
Wonderful.
Whatever you say it, right? So second thing,
Yeah.
just one minute.
Sure.
You said that what happens is in initial days of our relationship, when we get the newly born children, boy or a girl, we think that he or she is very small, she doesn't know what is happening, so let's fight each other in front of him. So your children are not learning only from your words or from your teaching, from the books, they are learning what they are seeing.
That's
First thing,
true, yes.
if you abuse your partner in front of your children, or if you abuse one partner
Ji.
to tell them that there is a problem with other one, I'm just telling you.
Ji, ji.
So the things go wrong from here.
Exactly.
So you have to stop bullying each other in front of them, and you have to stop telling them that other partner's fault. You have to keep these things away from them.
Exactly. Wonderful, Dr.
That's
Saab.
what it is.
And towards the end, Miss Aisha, you know, we want you to kind of wrap up the entire conversation. And if you have a message, please go out and, you know, kind of have a conversation with our viewers in 46 different countries. Please, let's do this.
Parents are a blessing. Please love your parents, love your kids, and please don't badmouth anyone in the family.
Yeah.
Be respectable.
That's wonderful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of you, for coming, and thank you so much for being so well spoken. We loved being in conversation with you.
Same here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, well, of course, we are continuously going to be celebrating parents. There should not just be one day, because their sacrifices and the efforts that they put into, you know, developing our personalities and lives, it's immense. I don't think we can ever sort of say thank you for all the things they've done. But if you still have any feedback regarding what we spoke about, or maybe any queries, let us know through our social media pages with the name of
Well, this morning.
Yes, and the repeat of this show you'll be able to catch
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves, love your parents, remember them in your prayers, try to follow their footsteps if they've always been nice to you. Even if they weren't, please make sure ba nasib, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely.
1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take